And I mean, it was good. We used it for what it was, but when we first had our website, 217recovery.com, it was actually a web-based app, and it was only $10 a month. And again, that's all I could afford. So we got this cheap app, but it made an all right website. I knew how to do graphics and a few other things. And if you would look at our website compared to most other people's that use that app, you'd be like, wow, I can't even believe it's the same thing that you guys are using. But just because I knew how to manipulate a little bit. And so Anna would write the blog, and then Anna would send it to me, and then I would upload it, because you can only have one login, and it can only be associated with one Apple account. And I was like, oh. So it turned into more work for me, but I didn't mind. And, Anna just kind of hit the ground running. So Matt, when he started kind of like, I don't want to do the podcast, or I don't want to do this, and I started having them voice them, and then we figured that wasn't going to work either. And he just kind of, he wrote some blogs, and just kind of distanced himself, and he was bitter about something. I'm not sure what. So he kind of went a separate way for a minute, and Rob had some trouble. He went his way. Matt came back for a minute, started doing the blogs. And I told Matt, just do them whatever, man. I'm not going to chase you down the hallway. I'm not going to tell you have to do them. And then there was some resentments growing there again. And I'm not sure why. I at this point was like, all right, for my own sobriety, I have to just kind of stop worrying about this. And he went a separate way again, Matt did. And Ryan joined 217. He moved into the sober living house that Rob and I were in. And when Rob kind of took off, Ryan just kind of stepped up and was like, hey, man, I want to be a part of this too. And we had some things to do, and he'd show up and be like, yeah, man, I'll help. Let's do it. And Ryan became a huge part of 217 recovery. And, things were going well. We were having fun, and went through a couple trainings together. We did the suicide prevention training, or the assist training. Ryan and I did. We did the recovery ambassador training, which was awesome. We did the recovery coach training, which is when things started getting a little bit hectic. And we were also co-managing a sober living house in Boyne City at that time too. So things just started going a little haywire, and I was working 2 jobs full-time at college, and I was doing 4 podcasts a week and publishing Anna's blog for her. So it was a lot. I had a lot on my plate. 2020 kicked off, and Chris Goss kind of joined us, and that was interesting. Tyrone joined as like a silent partner, I guess you could say, even though Tyrone was anything but silent. He's our voice guy, and he's currently going through some things right now too. But things kind of got a lot interesting. Things got very interesting, let's just say. And we started having a lot of fun. And then I felt tension and resentments growing in the ranks there. And at the same time, I started seeing Marnie, and I wasn't sure if that was a good idea. I was so busy, and I don't think I could give her the kind of time that she needed and attention that she needed. So I was like, I don't know. That's thunder. Hopefully it picked that up. So I don't know. I had been seeing Marnie for a while, but that's the time where I kind of thought, well, it's just not fair. And then other things happened, and it was like, oh, wow, I'm going to have to move. So I did, and, some things happened with Ryan, and I just thought, I'm not sure if I could ever recover in that relationship, the same as it was before. So we just kind of had to distance from that. And Chris, he kind of went his own way. And, now I'm in Traverse City. So the things that we're doing, though, with 217 Recovery at this point, obviously we have the podcast. Anna has a blog. Marnie now has a blog. Jay has a blog. I have a blog. And Anna just got a new computer, so she's going to be doing more podcasting. And I guess she's going to have Rob on as a guest, which I can't wait for that. That's going to be exciting. But, we've come come a long way. We've had some people come, we've had some people go. You know, when we first started, I think there was like 6 of us. I mean, Trevor was in there, Ryan, another Ryan was in there. Seems like there was another guy too. But it just was a lot of people, and now it feels like a ghost town sometimes. But the ones that wanted to stick with it still are. And not saying that the guys that were in it before, you know, aren't coming back ever. You know, I would never say never. But it's been a hell of a ride, man. It really has. And, you know, just to show that if one person's listening right now, or 1,000 or 10,000, it doesn't matter to me, man. Like, this is just something that I wanted to do for fun. I wanted to do to help myself, and it does help other people from time to time. You know, when they listen and they can hear somebody, and I am brutally honest with my opinions and my feelings on the podcast. That's why you don't hear, hey, you know, here's the rehab treatment center of the week brought to you by whatever. You know, like, we're not doing sponsorships on the podcast because I wanted to keep it 100% legit. This is how I feel. This is how I'm feeling. Now, it has pissed people off along the way. Some people get butthurt, but that's how I feel. That's how I'm feeling at that moment. You know, I'm not going on a crusade of throwing people under the bus. I'm just saying I feel like this because of this. And this is why we're going to do this, you know, and how I go through my emotions in my day in my own mind is how I do it. And I'm sharing that. So a lot of people do find that useful, and they think, well, damn, if, you know, Corey's willing to open up about that. You know, that was one of my biggest things when I was on the radio, was I had to keep all that stuff away because that's bad stuff. You know, people are going to judge me. Now I'm just like, judge away, man. I'm doing so much better than I was before. And yeah, I still have, you know, moments, and I'm funny from time to time. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't trade this for anything. And it feels good to get it off my chest. And this is like a therapy session. I'm talking to nobody in the guest chair right now, but it's like free, so it works. But I don't know. I'm sure you understand what I'm saying with that. But it's been great, and you know, to get involved in the transportation part of the recovery community, I think is going to be huge. I want to help people get to meetings. I want to help people get to treatment. It's hard though, because some of the places that have the funding that would make it so much easier for us are like, well, we don't really know, and we need numbers. And I'm like, yeah, well, it'll work out how God wants it to, you know. I get where they're coming from with it. They can't just give everybody, you know, a bunch of money, but it'll all work out how it's supposed to. And, you know, every time I hit a door, I just look for a new one. You know, I'm not giving up like I would have in the past. You know, in the past, it would have been way too hard. I would have already been drinking. But this time, it's different. There's something that I really want. And yeah, I get frustrated. I get upset when I'm told no. We all do. But it makes me stronger, and it makes me keep digging deeper. Just like this app. We have an app coming, which, you know, it's great if you listen through iHeart, if you listen through Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcast, Apple. That's cool. But we're going to have it to where you can go right to the App Store, the Google Play Store, and just download the 217 Recovery app for free and get all your stuff there, you know. So, I mean, I listen to fantasy football stuff, and I love it, and I have an app, and that's where I listen to their app, you know. That's what I do. And I figure, you know, if I love that convenience, you would probably love it too. So, you know, from reading the blogs to getting information, seeing events. And we can do so much stuff with the app too that, you know, will integrate other things outside of, you know, maybe just 217 recovery stuff that you might find useful. And if there's something out there where you're like, hey man, if you put this on the app, you guys, you know, would keep me from having to check 5 different apps every day, then, you know, let us know about that and we'll look into it for sure. But so I don't know if I even really touched on what I thought I was going to touch on, but that's just a little bit of a recap of 217 recovery. And like I said, people ask me every single day, you know, what's 217 recovery? What's that about? And that's kind of what it's about, man. We're about providing hope, inspiration for people. And when we see things in the recovery world, not really in the recovery world, but preventing people or making it a little harder for them to get treatment, it's hard enough. You know, we want to help bridge the gap there, and I think we're on our way, and God has a plan, and I'm just getting out of the way this time. I'm getting out of the way and not giving up. So appreciate you listening. And if you would like to join the 217 Recovery Fantasy Football League, there's a couple spots left, not a lot, and it's free. We were going to do like a whole production and a promotion with it, but COVID again strikes. So we'll just smile and say, hey, we're still going to have fun anyway. We'll have some incentives throughout the season, and we'll reach out to people and different things and say, hey, we know what could you give the winner? So, just because we don't have a grand prize, just because it's free doesn't mean that there's not going to be a grand prize. So something to think about if you want to join. And if there's too many people, we can always kick up another league too and start at League 2. But yeah, send me an email if you're interested, Corey, Corey, at 217recovery.com. And tomorrow, my buddy Zach is scheduled to be on the podcast, and that should be very interesting. Zach's got a little over a year, and it's been a while since I've seen him, so I can't wait to talk to him live in the studio. So until then, have a good day. Enjoy the rain if you're in northern Michigan.